How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com and habitsunplugged.com. This video is to introduce the Habits Unplugged Mastermind group coaching program, and just to tell you a little bit about how group coaching works. Now, my job is to sort of give you the skills and techniques and tools that you need to build your own self-belief, to build your own abilities in order to not only to get rid of this habit, the habit of drinking alcohol, but to take the same skills and techniques and to put them into use no matter what it is that you're trying to do in your life. Self-belief is one of the biggest things that you need to have to move yourself forward. Not only belief about what you are now and who you are now. I mean, this is the only place that you can start out from, is exactly where you are. But you have to believe that you can move on to somewhere else. In personal psychology, self-belief is 99% of everything. If you don't believe in what you're doing, if you don't believe in the techniques or the tools, if you don't believe in that you have the abilities to put those techniques and tools into practice, then you're lost. You can't do anything else. You're just stuck where you are. So my job within the program is to help you to see things differently, right? To see things from a different perspective, see things through different mindsets, to change your mindsets. A lot of what we learn, a lot of our habits are based around mindsets and beliefs that are as old as we are. They come from well before we could even think cogently about anything. These things have been sinking into us from day one. They've been, as you're growing up, you watch your parents, you watch the people around you, and all of this stuff is sinking in, and it's creating what you believe in. It's creating your own personal culture, and when you grow older, you put that personal culture into practice, and it's then that after years of doing this, especially in the case of if you're a smoker or a drinker, or you eat crap foods, it's only after you've been doing this for a long while that you start to see the consequences of this. And as with anything, it's trying to see these things differently. It's trying to look at alcohol differently, right? It's trying to look at addiction differently. It's trying to look at all these things from a completely different perspective, from a perspective that is there to help you, right? Not to fill out a dictionary or to fill out some scientific book. It's there to give you the techniques that that you can apply to yourself, and you can apply day in and day out, right? There's no magic bullet with this, right? I can't promise that. At the end of the day, I can tell you everything that I know, everything that I've learned, but if you don't put it into practice yourself, obviously it's not going to work. You've got to put these things into practice in your daily lives, right? If you don't, then as I say, it's not going to work for you. Most of the heavy lifting is going to be inside your mind, changing your mindset, changing your self-beliefs. This is going to be the place where you'll get the most bang for your buck. And my job is to sort of alter your expectations, change your assumptions, and lead you down a path where you're breaking down the habits, you're breaking down the beliefs, you're breaking down these expectations and assumptions, and you're rebuilding healthy ones, right? So you get rid of the old thinking, the old unhealthy thinking, the old unhealthy way of looking at things, and you rebuild or you construct new healthy ways of thinking about things. Now, the Mastermind group itself, the Mastermind principle comes from a guy called Napoleon Hill, who lived in the 19th and 20th centuries, and he was one of the I suppose the gurus of the self-help world. I've read so much of his stuff multiple times. I mean, this guy is just was a genius in his time, He talked about it as a mastermind alliance, right? 3 different words, a mastermind alliance. And he basically said that it was the coordination of knowledge and effort of 2 or more people who work towards a definite purpose and a spirit of harmony, right? And he went on to say that no two minds ever come together without thereby creating a third, invisible, intangible force, which may be likened to a third mind, the mastermind, right? So it's the whole being greater than the sum of its parts, right? That when people get together and they have a common purpose and a common goal at the end of the day, that each of those minds contributes something which creates something which is a lot bigger than the sum product of all of those minds put together, right? Of those individual minds. You know, that's why a lot of forums work very well. A lot of mastermind groups work very well. Is because no matter what the reason why you're coming into this, I mean, a lot of people come into this thing with the problem of alcohol. They've got alcohol in their lives, right? And they want to get rid of the alcohol out of their lives. But a lot of people are very well-rounded, right? They've got experience in many other areas of life. I mean, like I said at the beginning, you know, people who generally are at this stage in their lives are here because they're suffering from the consequences of years of drinking, right? And most of these people have been living very functional lives. I mean, I had, most of the people I talked to, everyone that I've ever talked to has lived a functional life in one sphere or another, you know, one aspect of the life or another, and they've got experience, they've got skills, they've got life knowledge that they can share with other people. And that's the beauty of a mastermind group, is not only are you taking knowledge and experience from other people to do with alcohol, to do with quitting drinking or quitting any habit, but you're also you have a different perspective because of all your knowledge and your experience and the things that you have learned over the years, you know, and that makes you as an individual invaluable to the group as a whole, right? And that's why the whole is much greater than the sum of its parts. And one of the biggest roadblocks, I think, for people stopping drinking alcohol is because they find it a very daunting task on their own. I mean, whether you drink on your own or not, right? Whether you're a social drinker or you drink in isolation. I mean, I was sort of both, and I think most people are to a certain extent. Quitting drinking alcohol can seem to be a very isolating thing to do. You know, it separates you from the group, from the herd, so to speak. And it can put you in a position where you've got no people to turn to for help. You've got no people to bounce ideas off, you know, where to brainstorm. And that's one of the best things about a group like this, is it gives you that ability to brainstorm for a start, which is one of the fundamental things, of brainstorming about your own problems, about your own solutions and how you're going to deal with things. It gives you the ability to get accountability for yourself, so you come there every day and, you know, you get to know other people, you get to know other people's issues and where they're finding difficulties, you get to know other people where they're finding solutions to their problems, and you can come back day after day after day, but it keeps you accountable to yourself as well as anyone else. So what can you expect from the group? Well, as soon as you log in, you'll come to a screen, you'll get a screen there which will show you three different options. First, you'll have the mastermind group itself, which will take you to the forum, the main forum. I'll talk about that in a minute. Then there's a Q&A button which will take you to all the Q&As that we've done. And the third button is for the videos. Now, the main forum is set up into three different sections. Now, there's going to be other sections as well, but they're mostly informational sections. The three main sections are the before, the during, and the after, and it's as simple as that. It's to try and keep things as simple as possible, right? The before section is obviously for people who are just coming into this and haven't yet stopped drinking, right? The during section is obviously for people who are going through the process of quitting drinking, or they've quit drinking and they're going through the process of changing their lives, right, to making things better and breaking down all the parts of the habit and restructuring things and putting things in place, that kind of thing. Now, this can take anywhere. It depends on the individual, you know, from a month to 6 months to a year, whatever it is. And the after forum is for people who have they've successfully got over it. They know in their own minds that they're never going to go back onto the booze again, that they've conquered this one thing and they've got past that thing. They've, deconstructed the whole habit. They've got it out of the way. Now, as I said, there's 3 different sections. Now, the 3 different sections are there open to everyone, right? So, you can go in to either of these sections and you can learn a lot from the people that are in there. You can comment in either of the sections. You're not restricted to one section, but try and keep your questions and topics sort of relevant to each section if you can. That's why I split them up that way. This is just going to be a place where I'll be all the time. I'm going to be in there every day. I'm going to be in there trying to give as much help and advice as I can, answering as many questions as I can. Like I say, I'll be doing the daily questions, and I'll talk about the Q&As in a minute, but from a day-to-day perspective, I'll try and get through as many questions as I can on a daily basis. Like I say, it's all about people trying to help each other. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts because of the people who are involved in this thing. Now, this form of mastermind group coaching setting gives people a mixture of brainstorming, education, accountability amongst your peers, and support in a group setting. It sharpens your skills, it focuses your goals, it allows you to think things through, to create ideas, to plan, and to make solid, intelligent decisions. Now, it does require 100% responsibility from you, right? It requires 100% commitment from you, right? It requires that you focus your mind onto the group objective, which is to stop thinking about alcohol, right? And to move yourself forwards into thinking about what it is that you want in life, right? Focusing on the things that you really want, right? The reason for living, right? And once you find these reasons, you won't ever want to look back, right? You won't ever want to go back to where you were. It might take a bit of time before you get to that stage in your life, but I guarantee you that if you stick it out, if you feel that responsibility within yourself, right, for your own actions, for your own thinking, for the things that you do in your life, and you have that 100% commitment to moving yourself forwards, I guarantee you that this will take you in a direction which, as I say, you will never want to go back from, So it is all about having that responsibility and that commitment, not only to yourself, but to the group, right? To be willing to take and give honest truths, right? To sort of say, well, this is where you're going wrong, but doing it with compassion and understanding, right? Not doing it in the sense that you're trying to get one over on somebody else or you're trying to lord it over somebody else, but doing it in a way which accords respect to the other person, right? As well as yourself. So my job is not only to answer questions and give advice, it's also to try and keep things as focused and balanced as possible, right? To try and help you to keep on your particular road, to try and keep the group on its particular road, right? And to keep that forward momentum going, right? To map things out as much as I can within the group setting, to help you map things out as much as you can within your own individual setting. And as I say, to try and keep that momentum going, moving forwards. So the Q&As are going to be really weekly things at first until we start getting some volume into the forum. Then I can take them up to twice or maybe 3 times a week, depending on the amount of questions that are coming in. I'll put out a request for questions whenever it's time for the Q&A to come up. I'll also take questions that have been asked during the week if I think those questions are going to be for the benefit of the group in general. I'll list out the questions that have been answered in the Q&A, and I'll post them up so you know exactly what's going to be covered. The videos themselves are going to be put up once a day. There'll be 2 different types. The first type is going to be training driven. So these are going to be basically formed into mini courses. So on specific topics like the basics. The first videos that are going to be put up are all about basics of habit change and quitting drinking alcohol. Then I'll go on to stuff like cravings and triggers and all that kind of stuff. How to sleep, how to talk to people, how to socialize, all that kind of stuff. The videos will also be group driven, so it depends on what the group wants. If the group wants a specific topic covered in a video course or an individual video, let me know and I'll do a video on that or a course of videos on that. I'm really excited about this. This is something that I've been working towards for a couple of years now, and specifically I've been putting a lot of time into this, just thinking about it and thinking about the structure, how best to structure this so that it's helping you the most since I stopped the 365-day challenge way back in July, and I really can't wait to get started on this. I know it's going to make a huge difference in your journey. So click the link down below to get started, and I'll see you on the inside. Until next time, take care of yourself, onwards and upwards. Take care, bye bye now.